name is Juliet Torres. I am 20 years old, and I'm very, very excited to do this interview and talk with you.
Awesome, yeah. No, we're very excited to have you. So we're going to kind of just do a couple of softball open questions. Maybe we won't use all of them, but they're kind of just to get us going.
Okay.
So what is your favorite activity to do right now outside of school or work?
So I've recently been going to the little markets that they do monthly around San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one is called Hotspot, and it's right over Normal Heights. And then there's also like Day to Day that has like theirs in North Park. They do it once a month. Not only does it save me money, but the clothes there are so cute, and it has transformed my whole wardrobe. It's all I wear now.
No, that's so fun. Just like get out of the house and like.
Yeah, it is, and just it's like kind of small too, like the little venues, and it's pretty nice. It's a little community there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What qualities of yourself are you most proud of? You can pick like 3 or a couple, yeah.
Qualities about myself. I think I'm a very detail-oriented person. I like planning things. I love having planners with me. I plan my weeks, especially with school going on and everything. That I'm very determined in my studies. Sometimes I surprise myself too. And then even looking back at it, I'm like, I did that? I couldn't do it right now. I think I'm just like sometimes so burned out that, but I've gotten better with that, honestly. Taking a step back, going out more. I love going to coffee shops and like doing studying stuff there. But and last one, I don't know. I think those were the main 2.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So you're talking about studies. You're in college right now.
Yeah.
So do you know what your major is yet? Or,
yeah. So I'm a speech language hearing science major.
Oh, wow.
That's a very long title, but yeah, I'm studying to hopefully enter a master's program to become a speech therapist.
That's awesome. Okay, so I feel like that's so specific. What kind of initially drew you to that kind of like, I mean, I would say career path because it kind of...
So it's like kind of funny because I started at community college right here at San Diego City, and I was originally going for graphic design. I love the arts. I especially love graphic design. San Diego has so many like graphic design firms around here. It's like perfect to start off. But something kind of drew me a little bit more towards speech therapy because growing up I had speech therapy. I remember going to like these clinics and having them help me pronounce certain things that I couldn't say. I'm also bilingual too, so I grew up speaking Spanish. And I think I just struggled a lot in school trying to like get English and then also practicing Spanish at home. And so the school provided me with like different resources to see like what would help. And one of them was speech therapy. Personally for me, I really enjoyed working with speech therapists. They were very kind and like very patient with me. And even with my special education teachers, they are honestly, they helped me so much during school, and looking back at it now, I'm so appreciative of that. Knowing that there are people like me who are also struggling in school, and knowing that I can also contribute like those teachers is like what drew me more into speech therapy. Like I want to help more towards like bilingual kids who have like certain speech disorders that we don't know about yet or don't have too much like research in, or how to like overcome that, or help overcome that for a child. So yeah, that's
that's really cool. I think what's super cool, like what you just said, was that you were so appreciative of all the people that you had helping you, but you've also kind of seen some of like, I don't want to say like pitfalls, but seen some of the things that then you can kind of like continue on for next generations that maybe they weren't covering while you were in school. Yeah. That's really cool. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's so exciting. So what year are you in right now?
I am a junior at San Diego State University. I just transferred there.
Oh,
finished up. Thank you. I finished up my fall semester. I'm in spring. And yeah. So far, so good over there.
That's super cool. I think to kind of like go a little bit deeper into this, because I think that something that's interesting is like your career will also have you kind of working within schools probably at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So what does education mean to you, like from your perspective?
For education is just in general so important to me. I think it's so important that I will literally dedicate my life to have other people have the same education as others. I think it's also important that education is able to kind of expand more. Like, I remember I was in this program called Dever over at City College, and they focused on kind of training or helping build a community with bilingual educators. And they would set up these conferences, and we would go to these dual enrollment schools where they taught multiple language to kids in the curriculum. I went there and I almost wanted to cry because I was like, imagine if I had this like growing up. This would have been so nice and so cool. I remember a story one of the teachers was telling us about how this girl who attended the dual enrollment school, like, she only spoke English, but she was staying with her grandparents, right? And they didn't know English. They only spoke Spanish. So there was like this really disconnect between them. And she started going to that school and like started learning, and now there's like, they can communicate now. Like, there's that connection to get like again together for them. And I thought that was so inspiring and so cool. And knowing that there are dual enrollment schools in San Diego, like they exist, is really amazing. So just education in general and providing that for a child really just makes a difference.
Yeah. No, I feel like you already answered this, because kind of like a side question that we have is like, what topic or subject or skill do you think should be taught in schools? And I feel like kind of your discussion around like, because my school, I just missed when my school did like dual immersion and stuff, and I'm so disappointed about it. Just because it's cool because it literally helps everyone involved. Mm-hmm. So is that something that you think would be like cool to have in public schools?
Yeah,
like,
wonderful idea. Oh my gosh, yes. I grew up in a public school. Like in elementary school, I went to a public school more up north, only because I was struggling a lot in school. And my parents thought that maybe like moving me up to another school that provided more resources for me, that would help me. And it did. Yeah. It helped me so much. And I'm like so grateful to have those teachers that really helped me like succeed. The only thing that I wish they had was dual enrollment. Dual enrollment, like having that sense of connection to my language too, because I went to a school where like the demographics for Mexican Americans was like pretty low. And don't get me wrong, that didn't really sort of make me feel left out, maybe sometimes, but looking back at it and I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish I was more immersed in that Spanish language, because I know a lot of people have it at home because they have it with their parents. But most of my communication was English because a lot of my siblings would take care of me, and they spoke English. They went to high school and everything while my parents worked. So yeah, I honestly think having more dual enrollment schools around San Diego will help a lot of kids.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Tell me about, kind of switching a little bit, tell me about someone who has left an impact on you in your life. Can be family, teachers, and kind of discuss a little bit why.
Okay. Technically there are two, but they were my AP teachers, and I was very young during elementary school, so I kind of forgot their name, but I worked with them constantly, like in elementary school during the time where I was really struggling. And I would notice myself falling behind in class, and it really impacted my self-esteem. Like, just as like a kid, I felt like I was falling behind, like there was something wrong, like it was not a fun time. These teachers put in the time and effort for me and were so patient, and they always encouraged me. I think that was the biggest thing. They always told me, like, Juliet, like, you are so good, you're going to do so many things. just by that impacts me. I always remember that moment.
Yeah.
And I look at what I am now. I'm like at San Diego State University. I've transferred and I'm studying for a major that I'm really passionate about. If I were to tell myself that, my little self that, I don't think she'd believe it, honestly.
Yeah.
But my 2 IEP teachers were wonderful people, and every day I do think about those moments that they helped me in, and it motivates me more to keep going.
Yeah. No, it's really nice to have the people in your life that believe in you, even when maybe in that moment you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's so important for like kids who, because they think, they feel, they think, they have all these emotions, and sometimes they really truly just need someone to tell them like, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
You have the power to do this.
What is a challenge you have had to work through, and how has it shaped you? I know that we've kind of talked about it, and then it's going to kind of maybe lead into like, what advice would you give to someone facing a similar challenge?
I think a challenge that I've had throughout my educational journey is just doubt, I think. Because sometimes you do doubt yourself a little bit on how far you can go. And I've definitely had those moments, especially when I graduated high school. I was trying to decide whether like community college was my thing, going into a 4-year university, because to be honest, financials does play a big part into that. And I decided to go to community. I was like, it's right here near me and they have really cool programs and I'm going to go try it out. First year was rough. Second year, it was such a good experience. I made so many new friends. I was so involved in the community. I found my people who were trying to pursue the same thing. I did feel a little bit left out though, because there wasn't anyone going for my major. It was no one going for speech therapy or anything like that. So it did make me wish a little bit that, I wish I had people who were like going for my major. Transferring to state, I'm also very happy there because there's an actual group of people there who want to study the same thing as me, are passionate in the same thing as me. I literally went to a meeting, I think it was yesterday, that is called Hablar con Confianza. I love the meeting so much. It was everything I wanted that I couldn't get at community college. So either way, I'm very happy in community, state. It really is just finding your people and your community.
Is there a cause or social issue that you're passionate about, and why is it important to you?
I did talk about this a little bit. I'm very passionate about kids' education and having the equal rights as everyone else. So I think that's really important, especially for my community, Mexican American community. I really want to provide students with equal amounts of resources, equal amounts of care and everything. And also I think one of these ways that we can do it is having more bilingual teachers. Having more bilingual teachers would make such a great impact in school communities, and literally having more programs that educate these educators and being more open-minded to the diverse backgrounds of children. So that's something that I'm really passionate and hopefully will contribute to, because I really do believe in helping kids and their education. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you will in some way. So kind of going back to the second question, what do you think is something about you that will get left out on standard applications?
I think something about me that would be left out on scholarship applications is that a lot. I think that everyone has similarities to each other, but it comes in different ways, and it really does impact how it makes you become who you are. Like, growing up, I used to have an IEP. I struggled a lot in school, and it also was something that I was shameful when I was younger because it really just made me feel left out from everyone else. I felt like there was something wrong with me. And I literally dedicated so much of my time to become better. I felt like I had to put 2 times the effort everyone had to put into, and just to keep up too. I think just the struggles that a lot of people have to face aren't on the scholarship applications, you know? I can pick a struggle, but there's always a struggle behind that struggle and how people overcome it. So, yeah, I think doing things like this, getting really in depth with a person, it's really, really cool. I mean, I sat here, I didn't really review over the questions, and we had a full conversation, and I told you everything that I think I wanted to say. Yeah, it was really cool.
We have one last outro question. What would you say to a student?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you just kind of did the Storyteller Scholarship interview.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a student is coming in right now. What would you say to a student who will be doing their Storyteller interview? Like, what's some advice since completing it yourself?
Don't think too much about it. If you know what you want, say it. State it. And don't doubt yourself, because no one knows the future. I've told you things of my ideas, my passions, but that could change. Yeah. I could come back to this interview and have a completely different story for you, and how I may have chosen another path because I was inspired by another thing. Don't feel like you have to be stuck to one story, because that's not how you grow. You grow by expanding and being open-minded to it. So that's my advice. Just don't overthink it. If you know what you want, go for it. But if you're uncertain, just go for it. It's not gonna hurt. Yeah.
Hey YouTube! If you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!